there's a new, low cost, and, in my opinion, luxurious enough hybrid sedan to roll around in, the Toyota Corolla Hybrid XLE. This one could be good. Let's take a closer look. For the 2023 model year, Toyota did update both the front and rear fascias of the Corolla, and that carries over for 2024. And in my opinion, it's a nice and clean front end. I've seen these headlights on a lot of different Toyota and Lexus products, and I really like it. It's got this narrow bit that comes right to the center, then comes out for the main beams right here, kind of like a check mark of sorts. And it has just, I think, a nice look. And then the bumper and the front grille flows around it nicely. This is pretty big, but not overpowering. This has this like fake grid mark built into it, but I think it's tasteful enough. And I do like this polished metal look down here at the bottom. Nothing about it screams. It's subtle, it's tasteful, and I think it looks good. And while the hood does have a couple of nice creases bent into it and looks lovely, I'm much more curious to see what's underneath it. And there is your 1.8 liter inline-4 engine, transversely mounted, of course, sitting right next to a whole bunch of electronics to make up the hybrid bit. All in all, you get 138 horsepower and 156 pound-feet of torque. The center line of the axle is right around this rubber bit right here to seal the hood off, so a good chunk of the engine is ahead of the front axle center line, but not all of it actually. And you do have some equipment behind, so that is going to help weight distribution just a little bit. You also have this interesting intake inlet right here, which seems to be built into part of the grille over there, and you know, fun little Toyota logo right there. It is a little bit of a shame that the battery has to be far forward. The battery itself is ahead of the front axle center line, and it is one thing I noticed right here. I don't know if it's easy to read through the camera, but this says 0W16 motor oil weight. Yikes, that is thin stuff. That would help minimize friction losses, so I can understand the motivation, but you got to be careful to make sure oil is never starved. Oh, and yes, windshield washer fluid goes right here. This dark gray bluish paint that you see is called underground, and yeah, I'd say it fits the car just fine. And generally, I think it looks like a perfectly reasonable compact sedan. I will go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen right now for you to check out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. All in all, it is a pretty simple shape. I do like this polished metal we have for the top part of the window trim here, and there is this nice character line that kind of swells out from the front fender flare and runs just above the handles, cross door all the way to the back, just above the rear tail lights. But generally, it's pretty straightforward and understated, and I like that. Oh, this car does have an accessory included, $150 for mud flaps here and here. Standard wheel for the Toyota Corolla Hybrid is a 16-inch steel wheel, but because this is an XLE, we get 16-inch alloy wheels, 10 spokes, and they look totally appropriate. And this is a square setup. The wheel size in back is the same size as what's in front. Just like the rest of the car, the rear is pretty understated and straightforward, and I like that. I appreciate that styling. It does have one other accessory built in. This is a rear bumper protector right here, and that is $89. I don't know how useful that particular one is, but it's also not that expensive. Depends on your lifestyle, I suppose. I do like that the taillights start way off to the side of the body and do run right through across the entire width of the Corolla to the other side. I think that's a nice touch, and I think all the logos and everything are tastefully sized, and I appreciate that this bumper does not have any kind of faux diffuser baked into it, because why would it? Also, another pet peeve that is mercifully not here, no fake exhausts of any kind. You just have one single tailpipe right there in the corner, subtle, just as it should be. Despite being a compact car, this is a generous 13 cubic feet of space in the trunk, which is a healthy amount. And we have a nice big opening right here to make it pretty darn easy to get things in and out. Also, this does have one other accessory, pretty common one, $289 for carpeted floor mats, which includes this lovely one in the trunk that says Corolla right here. How about that, in case you forget? Also, if you do need more than 13 cubic feet, that is pretty darn easy to do. Pull a couple levers, fold the seats down, and you have more than 13 cubic feet. Looks like that. All right, let's check out the inside. As we open the rear door, I will let you know that the interior color is called parchment and looks like that. I like that it's two-tone, and I like that it's not black, even though there is still a lot of black in the trim and the consoles and things like that. Even though this is a compact car, seat space doesn't seem so bad, and seat bottoms are actually reasonably high. I am 5'11" inches or 181 centimeters tall, and I have a good 3 inches of knee room, and I have decent thigh support as well, but it isn't super spacious in here, so I do have right around a 90-degree bend in my knees. I am also a little bit pinched for headroom. That's because we do have a moonroof up front, but it certainly wouldn't be bad for short trips. It's comfortable enough, and I do have a couple of USB Type-C ports right there, and as long as there's not 3 passengers back here, I do have an armrest with cup holders, so life is good. All right, to the front. Okay, first of all, we are looking at a Softex synthetic leather seat material, and it feels perfectly fine. We also have, again, the same two-tone finish on the dash and the doors, and I think it looks lovely. Appreciate that it's not black. We have the typical controls on the door right here, and, you know, a nice shelf space right there. There are a couple of controls to the left of the steering wheel dealing with your automatic lights, opening the fuel cap, and interior lighting. And the XLE does get powered seats for the driver, but the passenger front seat is manually operated. And we do have both tilt and telescoping adjustment for the steering wheel. It is manually done right there. Now, when I said luxurious enough a couple minutes ago, a lot of what I was talking about is up here in front. First of all, the steering wheel itself is a nice thick rim, and it is wrapped in leather, Toyota says, and you do have a fair amount of controls, media controls on the left, cruise control on the right, and we also have a fully digital 7-inch instrument cluster screen right there. Power buttons right here. And there is the instrument cluster screen lighting up, and the engine decided to kick on as well. Now, the 7-inch screen is standard on the XLE trim, but it is exclusive to the XLE trim. LE and SE Corolla hybrids get a 4.2-inch screen in the center and analog gauges on either side. Standard across the board, however, is an 8-inch audio multimedia screen, and that includes wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and the virtual assistant. Hey Toyota.
What do you want to do?
Set the temperature to 72 degrees.
Setting the driver's seat temperature to 72 degrees.
You do also get a single zone climate control system right there, which you can manually adjust if you want. And beneath that, you do have heated seats. And the heated seats are also part of the XLE trim. And next to that, because we have the $600 JBL premium audio system with wireless charge pad, we have a wireless charge pad right here. So this is what I mean. Heated seats, wireless charge pad, up-to-date infotainment system right here with a lot of neat tricks, climate control, USB ports, all the things you do truly need. Beneath that, we have drive modes, traction control on off, and an EV mode. Pretty standard looking Prindle. Couple of nice big cup holders right here. Electric park brake with the hold button, and another lower center console storage with another USB Type-C port and decent amount of storage. And an old school charge port right here. Looking up, we do have a few light switches and things like that right here, and a moonroof with a manually opening privacy panel. Lovely. So let's talk drive modes. The EV mode will only function when the internal computers think you have enough battery charge to do it, and it is only good for shorter stints. However, you do also get the more typical drive modes. That's adjusted right here. If you look right here, you'll see that you get normal and eco. So yeah, that's something. Also, the main center console screen has this information right here. Energy flow. This is front wheel drive only, but you can see the engine, the electric motor, and the battery pack. The battery pack, by the way, does sit underneath the second row, so that's where it's stored. So it gives you a sense of how much battery charge you have and where the energy is going. For folks like me, this is cool information to have. And it might be something we look at from time to time when we get back to the drive. So, no time like the present, let's get back to the drive.